You know that feeling when you're browsing the internet, clicking around, and sometimes things just don't quite work. Or maybe they work perfectly, but you don't really have a clue why that specific web page loaded so quickly or why that image just popped up just right. It almost feels like there's this silent conversation happening, behind the scenes, a hidden language spoken constantly between your computer and, well, all those servers out there on the internet. Every click, every page load, every single interaction is like part of this really intricate dance of communication. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to peek into one of the internet's most fundamental, yet honestly, often unseen languages, HTTP status codes. And look, if you're someone who loves gaining knowledge quickly, but, thoroughly, getting those aha moments that make complex stuff suddenly click,
Yeah.
then this deep dive is absolutely for you. Our mission here is simple. Take these seemingly technical numbers, you might have seen them, like 200, 404, maybe 500, and turn them into crystal clear insights. We're going to explain every line, really break down every digit, so even if you're a complete beginner to this topic, you'll feel well informed. You'll get what the internet's internal chatter is all about.
That's exactly right. It all starts there, doesn't it? When you use the internet. I mean, whether you just instinctively click on a link you see on some page, or, you deliberately type a URL like www.google.com straight into your browser's address bar, your computer is actually kicking off a very specific underlying interaction. It's basically starting a dialogue. It's asking a server somewhere out there for something. Now, what does asking for something really mean here? Well, your browser puts together something called an HTTP request. You can kind of think of this request like a very carefully written letter. It gets sent across the internet, and it specifies exactly what you want. So, for instance, maybe you click a link to, let's say, https.example.com/products. Your browser is effectively telling the server at example.com, hey, I need the content for the products page. And this content, it isn't just like a static picture. It could be the actual web page code, HTML code, which your browser then takes and draws onto your screen so you see the page. Or maybe it's asking for an image file or a video stream, or even just a little bit of data that changes, like a product listing from an online shop that updates constantly, or the latest stock price. The amazing thing is, almost every single piece of a web page that loads the text, the pictures, the way it looks, the interactive bits, usually involves your computer making a separate individual request. Each one is like a tiny question being fired off to a server, maybe halfway across the world. And then the server responds. It sends back two main things in reply to that request. First, if everything goes smoothly, it sends the content you actually asked for, so the web page itself or the image or the data. But, and this is really key, alongside that content, or sometimes even when it can't send the content, it also sends back a status code. It's just a small 3-digit number. But it acts like a super concise report card, telling your computer exactly what happened with its request. It's the server's way of saying, okay, here's the outcome, success or failure, or maybe I need to send you somewhere else. You might wonder, why separate the code from the content? Well, it's because the status code gives information about the transaction itself, metadata. It tells your browser the result of the request, even if no content was actually sent. It helps your browser, and ultimately you, understand what's going on, even though you usually don't see it directly. And that's the thing. You often don't see this number just pop up on your screen while you're browsing. The internet's designed, for the most part, to be seamless, to keep all those complicated technical details hidden away, right? So your browsing feels smooth, intuitive, but it's always there, humming away quietly behind the scenes, a constant stream of these codes flying back and forth between billions of devices. Just understanding that it's there and starting to get what these numbers mean. That's the first step to really demystifying how the web actually works. It means you can start to understand problems better, maybe even troubleshoot them yourself. It's kind of like learning the internet's secret handshake.
That makes total sense. It's like this hidden layer of communication. So, okay, to really get why these codes are so crucial, let's use this fantastic analogy our sources mentioned. Imagine you go into a shop, not just any shop, right? This shop is like a perfect stand-in for the server in our internet chats. You, the customer, you're like your computer making a request. You want a specific item. And the shopkeeper, well, they're like the server. They're trying hard to fulfill your request, and then they give you a clear answer back. I think this analogy is brilliant because it just cuts through the technical jargon and helps you picture what's really going on.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great way to think about it. So let's walk through those shop scenarios. First, the ideal situation, the best one. You walk in, ask for something specific, and the shopkeeper beams and says, here you go, everything you asked for is ready. That, right there, in the world of HTTP, is a perfect picture of a 200 OK status code. That simple phrase, here you go, It just conveys complete success, right? Everything worked out. It means the shopkeeper or, the server understood you perfectly. They found the item you wanted. It was in stock. It wasn't damaged. And now it's packaged up, ready for you. No problems, no delays, no confusion. It's that smooth, seamless transaction we all hope for when we go online. And honestly, it's the most common thing you'll experience, even though you don't see the 200 OK flash on your screen. It's the internet basically giving you a big green light. Okay, now let's think about another scenario. Less ideal, maybe, but still very common. You go up to the shopkeeper, ask for that specific item again, but this time they give a little shrug, maybe look around a bit and say, sorry, I looked for that item, but I just couldn't find it anywhere. This is our 404 not found status code. And notice the key part. The shopkeeper tried to find it. They didn't just ignore you or say, huh. No, they actively searched. They looked on the shelves, maybe checked the back room, looked in their inventory list. They did their job as a shopkeeper. But the specific thing you asked for, it just wasn't there. So this tells us the shop itself is open, it's running, it can handle requests generally, but your specific request for that particular item couldn't be met. Why? Because the item isn't there. It's not a problem with the shop's overall ability to serve you, it's about the availability of that one specific thing you asked for.
Yeah.
And then there's the scenario that's frankly frustrating for everyone involved, you and the shopkeeper. You walk up, make your request, but instead of a helpful reply, the shopkeeper looks totally flustered, maybe throws their hands up and goes, uh-oh, something broke in the shop's back room. Seriously, even I can't do anything about it right now. This is our 500 internal server error. And that backroom part of the analogy is perfect. It's not about finding your specific item anymore. It's about the shop's basic operations just failing. Maybe the cash register system crashed, or the power went out in the storage area, or their inventory database just went offline. Something critical malfunctioned. The shopkeeper, the server, is basically incapacitated. They can't process your request because their own internal systems are broken. And that bit, even I can't do anything about it right now, that tells you how severe it is, and that you, the customer, have zero control over fixing it. It signals a problem with the shop itself, its core infrastructure. It might not even be related to the item you wanted, just its fundamental ability to even try to get you anything.
Wow, yeah. That analogy really does make these numbers feel so much more tangible. It instantly clarifies the difference between I couldn't find it and my whole system just crashed. But hang on, what if the shopkeeper says something else? Like, oh, we actually moved that item over to aisle 5. Or maybe, sorry, this section is for staff only. Does the internet have codes for those kinds of situations too?
It absolutely does. And this is where understanding the, let's say, broader families of status codes really helps build that complete picture. Our sources actually group HTTP status codes into 5 main categories, and it's based on the very first digit of the code. This gives you a sort of mental shortcut to their general meaning. So you've got 1XX codes. These are informational, like the server saying, okay, got your request, still working on it, just hang tight a sec. You don't see these often as an end user. 2XX codes. These mean success, like our 200, okay, basically everything went perfectly. 3XX codes. These are all about redirection. They mean the thing you asked for isn't here anymore, it's moved somewhere else. Ish. 4XX codes. These signal client errors. Something was wrong with your request, the one your browser sent. 5X codes. And these point to server errors. The problem is on the website's end, not